What are the climate change impacts on polar protected areas? Imagine a world where the icy landscapes you see in pictures are melting away faster than ever. That's what's happening in the polar regions, home to some of the most fragile ecosystems on Earth. These areas are protected to keep their unique plants, animals, and landscapes safe, but climate change is making that a tough job. In these regions, temperatures are rising much faster than the global average. This is called Arctic amplification, and it means the Arctic is warming about 5 degrees Celsius more than the rest of the world over the last 100 years. This rapid warming causes big changes in the environment and affects the animals and plants that relying on stable conditions. One of the most noticeable effects is the shrinking of sea ice. In the Arctic, summer sea ice is disappearing by about 13% every 10 years. The ice that remains is thinner and younger, making it more fragile. This loss of ice is a problem because many animals depend on it for hunting, breeding, and resting. Polar bears, walruses, seals, and narwhals all need sea ice to survive. When the ice melts earlier in the season, these animals have to travel farther or fast longer, which can lead to starvation and declining populations. Glaciers and ice sheets are also melting in these protected areas. The Greenland ice sheet alone could raise sea levels by up to 33 centimeters this century if current emissions continue. That's a lot of water that affects not just polar regions but the entire planet. Rising sea levels threaten coastal communities and change ocean currents, which can impact weather patterns worldwide. Permafrost, or permanently frozen ground, is thawing as well. When it warms, the ground becomes unstable, causing erosion and damaging habitats and infrastructure. Thawing permafrost also releases greenhouse gases like methane and carbon dioxide, which speed up climate change even more. Protected areas in polar regions often act as natural buffers, helping to moderate local climate extremes. But as temperatures rise, these buffers weaken. Species that are adapted to narrow temperature ranges face the risk of losing their habitats entirely. Changes in snowfall and rainfall patterns also occur, affecting freshwater supplies and plant life that many animals depend on. As the Arctic warms, it becomes more accessible for human activities like shipping, oil drilling, mining, and tourism. These activities can disturb wildlife, pollute the environment, and cause more stress to already vulnerable ecosystems. Because of these changes, conservation efforts need to adapt. Fixed boundaries for protected areas may no longer be enough as species and habitats shift. Managers are now considering flexible strategies that can respond to climate-driven changes. Monitoring and research are essential to understand how ecosystems are changing and to develop ways to help them survive. In summary, climate change is causing rapid warming, ice loss, glacier melting, and habitat instability in polar protected areas. These impacts threaten the survival of many species and challenge conservation efforts to keep these regions healthy and resilient for future generations.